Live to 120 Secrets of the Modern Day Japanese Blue Zones. Where are the Japanese Blue Zones? That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. Okay, so I'm going to start a new series called Live to 120 Secrets of the Modern Day Japanese Blue Zones. Yeah, because, recently, Butona's Blue Zones program had started in Netflix. Yeah, it is called Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones, right? And then so many people are interested in Blue Zones, right? And I am in the position to talk about the longevity culture in Japan, the present day, because I live in Japan and I happen to live in the longest lived prefecture in Japan today and so on. So this is the first one in the series. And today I'd like to talk about where the modern day Japanese Blue Zones are. So please watch it until the end. Thank you. So recently I attended my junior high school reunion. Yeah, and this was Kanreki reunion party. Kanreki means when you reach the age 60 years old, we have a special celebration. And then we just decided to have the junior high school reunion to celebrate our Kanreki. But we actually had this party a year later because we had to cancel the event due to COVID last year. Yeah. So most of us were already 61. Yeah. But anyway, it was interesting because I went to junior high school in Nagano Prefecture and I live in Shiga now. And both Nagano and Shiga are the longest lived prefectures in Japan today. Yeah. So basically, it was like the meeting of the 61 years old from Shiga with the 61-year-old from Nagano. Right. Yeah. And then, but what was interesting was I kind of faced a sort of a reality of the old age because usually I don't really mix with the people in my age group. Yeah, I kind of mix with about people who are 20 years younger because my son is still small. Yeah. And so when you actually meet your kind of peer group, you kind of talk about your age and how you get sick and how your parents have died. And in fact, some of our classmates have already died too. So you kind of start talking about, someone was hospitalized last year and so on. Kind of. So the old age suddenly hit as a sort of reality. And usually because I practice, biohacking and I kind of talk about, health and stuff, I don't feel aging is a reality so much. We can kind of continue living, we can continue staying young for a long time. But when you actually meet people with the same age, you start talking about those things, then you do hit the reality. Yeah. And then even though the fact that we live in Shiga and Nagano, there are healthy people and there are unhealthy people. Not everybody is a centenarian. Yeah, right. So I know the reality, right? So it's not the longevity zone isn't a utopia, right? It's just an actual place where some people are lucky enough to live longer than others, but it's not a special place. So therefore, I am able to describe the secret without kind of fantasizing it as it is like sort of a utopia and the centenarians are sort of super people and so on. We're just regular humans, yeah. And so, what are the true secrets for regular people to stay young and continue living without getting sick? Right. Now, so to talk about the Japanese blue zones, I have to talk about the research done by Dr. Kondo, who is the author of Long-Lived Villages and Short-Lived Villages in Japan. Yeah. So he conducted his research between 1935 and 1971, and he spent 36 years traveling around Japan, visiting over 990 villages and towns. Yeah, this is an incredible research. Yeah. And then he made a map. So he marked the long-lived villages with blue dot and then short-lived villages with red dot. Yeah. Now, doesn't it sounds familiar? Yes, because I watched the Dan Buettner's, documentary on Netflix, and so he talked about this Italian scholar, Dr. Gianni Pes. Yeah, gave a presentation in 1999, and then he had this map, yeah, where he marked the longevity hotspot with a blue dot. Yeah. So I don't know when he made this map. Maybe he made this map a long time ago, so I don't know. But there's a possibility for some reason he knew the research of Dr. Shoji Kondo and got it from there, or just by coincidence, both of them happen to use the blue dot. Yeah, but that's interesting anyway. Yeah. Um, and then, so at that time, there are many long-lived villages in Japan, like throughout Japan, not, particularly in one sort of region. It was everywhere. Yeah. And then Okinawa, or the Ogimi village was not not listed as one of the blue dot place. Yeah. It was later in 1974. Yeah, Hiromichi Hagiwara, who was the co-researcher with Dr. Shoji Kondo. Yeah, using Kondo's method, he sort of calculated the lifespan, or the sort of the measure of longevity, and then Ogimi village in Okinawa happened to be the longest lived village that year. And I think after that, Ogimi village became famous, right? But during the Kondo research, Ogimi village was not part of the long-lived villages, right? Okay, so, but anyway, this is very old, right? And even the fact that Ogimi village was, featured as a longevity zone, still kind of old, right? So, where are the modern day Japanese blue zones? Yeah, and the best way is to use average life expectancy ranking by prefectures in Japan, which is issued every 5 years. Yeah. Now, Okinawa was high. Okinawa was ranked high in this ranking back in 1980s, but not so much recently. Yeah. Um, so this is the 2020 ranking, which is the latest ranking. Yeah. And then so Shiga came in first for men, and Nagano came in second. And then Shiga came in second for women, and Nagano came in fourth for women. But before that, 5 years ago, 2015 ranking, Shiga came in first for men, and Nagano came in second for men. But Nagano came in first for women, and Shiga came in fourth for women. And then in 2010, I think both men and women, Nagano came in first, right? So I would say Shiga and Nagano are ranked high in the last decade or so, right? Therefore, if I were to call the modern day Japanese blue zones, yeah, there must be Shiga and Nagano, right? Now, by the way, about Okinawa, the reason why Okinawa isn't ranked high so much anymore, I talked about it in this video called The Truth About Okinawa at the Land of Longevity. In fact, as a prefecture, it's not ranked high, but so northern part of Okinawa, the Ogimi village is in northern part, it's still relevant. I mean, they still live long. I mean, the lifestyle of the people in Ogimi village is still relevant today. Yeah. But if you kind of think of the entire prefecture, it isn't. Yeah. And this time, I kind of excluded Okinawa because Shiga and Nagano are unique in the sense that they both worked hard to become the longevity regions. Yeah. Shiga and Nagano was not high in the ranking like 20 or 30 years ago. But the government, the prefectural government worked hard to, step up. So this is our hope, really, because that means anyone can do that. Yeah. It's a great model. It's a great role model for other state or prefectures or county or, any sort of community to just work toward extending your lifespan. Yeah. Now, having said that, the location isn't as important today compared to like 30 years ago, like during Dr. Kondo's research, because around that time, the geographic location was critical to determine your diet and lifestyle because people didn't travel so much. But today, it doesn't it doesn't affect so much. Yeah. In fact, as far as diet is concerned, uh, anywhere is pretty much the same. We all have the washoku diet, the Japanese diet. We can access the fish, even though in the mountainous regions, and we can access vegetables and everything, and the lifestyle is pretty much the same too. Yeah, but if there is one element I would consider, that is whether you live in the countryside or not. Yeah. So the Japanese countryside is the land of longevity. Yeah, because when you look at the lifestyle of Nagano, Shiga, and Okinawa, like the Ogimi village, yeah, it is a country lifestyle. And then, but that lifestyle is everywhere in Japan, whether it is in Hokkaido or Tohoku or Kyushu or, Okinawa. Yeah, as long as you live in the countryside. Yeah. So I would say the entire Japanese countryside is the land of longevity. Right. And yet the even the countryside, some people are healthy and some people are unhealthy. So you cannot just say this location, produces, the long living people. Yeah, the people are important. Yeah, there are healthy people and unhealthy people. Now, so the centenarians were the healthy people, and they were the great role models. Yeah, and there are still many centenarians in Japan. Everywhere they are in Nagano, Shiga, Okinawa, and some other prefectures too. But it is kind of difficult to model them. Number one, it's difficult to kind of find them and interview them. They're already very old, right? Plus, their lifestyle, which was relevant to their long life, was, like a 30 or 40 years ago. Because how they lived when they were in their 60s or 70s was critical, not so much how they live now, right? So, I just thought, okay, can we not find a role model who are young enough so that we can kind of check their lifestyle today, and yet they are as healthy as those centenarians. And there are those people. And that's Shizenha people. Shizenha people means naturalist. Yeah, young naturalist, right? So they are Japanese future centenarians because they lead a very similar lifestyle to the one that the centenarian led. Yeah. So many of them come from city. They move to the countryside and they grow rice and vegetables using organic farming. They live in kominka. Kominka means a traditional style Japanese old house. Yeah, and with a tatami floor, and they bring their children naturally and so on. So what is interesting is like they chose this lifestyle. Well, centenarians didn't. They just happened to be born in a community where that lifestyle was a norm. So they just followed, everybody else, and then ended up becoming healthy. But those Shizensa people are different. Yeah, they deliberately chose this lifestyle. So that is a fascinating aspect of these people. And I'm sure they're going to live to 100 years or possibly 120 years because of the modern, modern medicine, and we have a lot more information, scientific discoveries about, like longevity, health, everything. So if they apply all those, definitely they will have a higher chance of living longer than the present centenarians, right? Okay, so the Shizenha people is critical as a role model, but also there's one kind of a culture or philosophy or idea that influences the Shizenha people or the centenarians. Now that is Japanese natural health, which is the base of Japanese martial art and healing art and everything. And then I think in Dan Buettner's program, the first episode when they talk about Okinawa, there was a man who I don't know whether he was practicing martial art, because there are actually a lot of people who practice karate in Okinawa, but he was able to sit with his leg crossed, and he used his both arms to kind of lift his body. Oh, that was incredible. And he was an old man. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he must have done some kind of martial art, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. But even if you didn't do any martial art, that is kind of ingrained in our culture. Japanese natural health is everywhere. It kind of influences our lifestyle in many ways. So it is possible that he picked it up elsewhere, even though he didn't do any martial art. Yeah. So therefore, yeah, by the way, I talked about the Japanese natural health in my other video called Japanese Natural Philosophy, right? Okay, so therefore, the modern day Japanese blue zones are Shiga, Nagano, Shizenha people, and the Japanese natural health. I know the last two are not the location, but they bring an important aspect of the blue zones. Therefore, to talk about the secrets of the modern day Japanese blue zone, they are essential, right? Okay, that's it. For more in detail, please read my book, The Ikigai Diet, The Secret Japanese Diet to Health and Longevity. So I describe more in detail about Dr. Shoji Kondo's research. And also, today's video, I talked about the Japanese countryside is the land of longevity. But more in detail, I described in the book the similarities among the lifestyles of Ogimi village in Okinawa and those of rural communities in Shiga and Nagano. Yeah. And also about Shizenha people. So please read the Ikigai Diet. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for watching. Yeah. So in the next episode, I will talk about the actual secrets of the modern day Japanese blue zones. Right. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. Yeah. Have you ever been to, Shiga or Nagano or Okinawa? Thank you. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai!